Hello everyone and welcome back to Let's Play Resident Evil Code Veronica X. Haven't mentioned that title is a mouthful yet, because it really is. I think it might be the longest title in the series until we get to, like, Operation Raccoon City or shit like that. In the last part, we ended up coming back to the prison to give Rodrigo the hemostatic and explored further into the torture areas of the prison. But since we now have the piano roll from the deepest depths of the prison, we are done here. We never need to come back here. Our next goal is back at the palace. I know I've harped on how many times you end up backtracking to the individual sub-areas from different sub-areas all the way across the map so far in this game. I do appreciate, though, that once you get the final key item in an area, you never need to go back there. Because some other games, not exactly even other Resident Evils, just other games, get a bit carried away with how many times they want you to backtrack towards endgame for just minor side content. Like, some games would be like, alright, here's a key, there's a door that opens all the way back to the start of the game. All that's back there is maybe, like, some equivalents to, like, handgun ammo or something like that. I appreciate that once you're done with a side area in Code Veronica, you are done with a side area. Because and that would only accentuate the backtracking problem I think this game already has. I'm glad there's at least that. It does make me wonder, though, how they would eventually approach this game in a remake. Because obviously they've remade Resident Evil 2 and 3, they remade Resident Evil 1 not long after this game came out. And we know they're working on a Resident Evil 4 remake, which I've already mentioned some minor trepidation with on some other forums, I believe. I'm wondering what they're eventually going to do if they ever remake this game. Because I feel this game could benefit the most out of any game in the series from a remake. Like, would they streamline it? Would they make characters more important? I would hope Rodrigo gets more of a role. There's things they could do there. Huh. Where'd the Cerberuses go? Odd.
Greetings. You must be the lovely Claire Redfield.
Who are you?
Let's just say that I'm a ghost, coming back to haunt your dear brother.
Wesker?
It seems there's not much explaining to do, is there? I was the one who attacked this island. Who'd have thought you'd be hanging about? All the better for me. Now that the cat dragged in this nice surprise, your ever so caring brother will definitely show up. I must thank you for being such good bait.
I don't know what went on between you two, but you have him all wrong. My brother is not the kind of person you think he is.
I despise Chris.
What are you gonna do to him?
Oh, how your brother will weep to see you die. What? What is it? Stay there. I'm coming. It appears you may be of some further use to me. I'm going to let you live a little longer.
Surprise! Wesker's back. This is the first game he returned in after his supposed death in Resident Evil 1. But if you're notably playing the Dreamcast version, that cutscene isn't there. One of the main things that Code Veronica X adds is about 10 minutes total of Wesker cutscenes throughout the game, as well as it came with the Wesker Report, which was a document I'll read later on in the LP probably, that kind of details his actions since the end of Resident Evil 1 and also details some minor plot things related to some other characters. He was in the original game, but he didn't show up until Disc 2. So they added a good amount of screen time for him in X. Either way, now we're back at the casino so we can use the piano roll, and that opens up that particular casino machine, that slot machine rather, to give us the King Ant object. So we can now take that back to the Ashford Estate in the back area and finish off all that. So now we have a bit of a trek to make. With that said, make sure you grab a lot, and I do mean a lot, of ammo along the way, as the trek to the Ashford Estate is now populated with a lot more zombies. And this is probably going to be my best opportunity to read the Wesker Report, honestly. There are a couple of different translations of it. There's the official translation, which is the one I'm going to read. There's a Project Umbrella fan translation, which is technically more accurate, but it lacks the personality of Wesker. So let's go right on in. By the way, Wesker in this game is voiced by Richard Waugh, I think is how you pronounce his name. He would voice Wesker until DC Douglas took over, I think, in the Dark Side Chronicles or Umbrella Chronicles, one of those two. Alright, so Wesker reports. My name is Albert Wesker. I aspire to become a leading researcher at Umbrella Incorporated, a pharmaceutical enterprise who covertly conducts bioorganic weapons, better known as BOW, for development. But at the research center situated in Raccoon City, I met a brilliant and talented researcher who made me decide to take a different path, William Birkin. In time, I shifted my position to STARS, a special forces unit of the Raccoon City Police Department. Umbrella, for crisis management reasons, for their illegal bioorganic weapons development, had many of its people working in the police department. I became the leader of STARS and conducted all sorts of intelligence activities for Umbrella. As I continued to serve, I devised my own plans and waited for the right moment to execute them. Then at last, opportunity knocked. 1998, July, 7:24. The freak murder incidents that had occurred at the force near the mansion started it all. The mansion was Umbrella's secret BOW laboratory, and it was clear that the in-development T-virus was the cause of the murder. Initially, Umbrella instructed me to secretly keep STARS out of the case, but with the heightened emotions for the citizens, STARS had no choice but to move in. That was when my next order was given. Dispatch STARS to the mansion, dispose of them, then report the situation to headquarters so that the combat with the BOWs could be used for data analysis, allowing for Umbrella to a comprehensive portrait of the BOW's combat abilities. From the two STARS teams, I first pitched in the Bravo team. As expected, the top of STARS gave all they had, and they became useful sample data. Then following, I geared up the Alpha team to search and rescue the lost Bravo team. The members of Alpha team also proved their worth, and as expected, many died. There were 5 survivors from the initial 11 STARS members. From the Alpha team were Chris Redfield, Jill Valentine, and Mary Burton. And from the Bravo team were Rebecca Chambers and Enrico Marini. It was time to begin executing my plans. In the midst of the whole affair, I could take Umbrella's ultimate bioweapon, the Tyrant, and join forces with an opposing corporation of Umbrella. To buy into that opposing corporation, I would need the actual combat data of the Tyrant. The surviving privileged members of STARS were just that perfect bait. I decided to have one of them play the Judas and draw them to the Tyrant. That Judas was Barry. Barry was the strong truth and justice kind and cherished his family more than anything. His type is easy to manipulate. I simply took the most important thing away from him. My only miscalculation was the high potential of Chris and Jill. But with the family man Barry playing the Judas, the scheme went as planned. Then the winds turned unexpectedly. I had to eliminate Enrico, who found out what was behind it all. I used Barry to get to him. After I successfully got rid of that nuisance, I awaited the sample specimen that Barry would bring to me in the Tyrant's room. I injected the virus I obtained from Birkin in advance. If I made Umbrella believe I was dead, it made it far more convenient to sell myself to the opposing corporation. According to Birkin, the virus had profound effects. It would put my body in a state of temporary death. It would then bring me back to life with superhuman powers. Therefore, I unleashed an awesome tyrant from its slumber and let it attack me. As my consciousness faded away, I was certain that the whole scheme would end in success. Never did I imagine that STARS would slay the evil creature. I lost the tyrant and the plan I devised, which cost me my humanity, ended in failure. Now anyone or anything that stood in my way would be terminated. It's been that way for a long time, and it always will be. At all costs, I had to make STARS pay. And that's where the Resident Evil 1 retelling of the Wesker Report ends. It's actually a surprisingly long document. I believe it was an audio drama initially that came with the T-Veronica X releases. I'll read more of it later on because we're only about halfway through it all. Thankfully, the following sections are a lot smaller. We'll have a couple more bits of downtime moving forward. Because now we're back in Alexia's room. You might remember I actually left the music disc here earlier on in the Let's Play. That's mainly because I also forgot I could pick it up. But it did end up saving me a step of having to bring that with me on the way here so I can bring more ammo if I needed to, which I thankfully didn't. But as you can see, they placed a lot of zombies on the way just to this room. I don't know where they came from. I'm assuming the game just realized, oh, wait, you're this far in? We better spawn more enemies, I guess, huh? Because that is part of the problem with having the game be as subsection divided as it is. Enemies aren't in your way as much as they could be because you're not crossing through the same area as much. I wonder if that's partially why they added more ammo to the game because they spawn more enemies in at certain points. Message card. My dear brother, I firmly believe that the glory of the Ashford family will be revived through your courage and strength as an honored soldier. Yours faithfully, Alexia Ashford. Okay. The music box is locked. The music plate inside has been pulled out. The blue sapphire is embodied by the opening, so we know where we can use the king ant object. And that opens this up where we can then place the music disc. And that brings down that platform, which we saw happen in the next bedroom over, but I believe if you tried to enter that ladder, the top of it was blocked, so you couldn't really do anything of worth with it. It was just there to show you, okay, that there is a room up here that we needed to eventually make our way up to. Also, I should note, I apologize if there's been any audio desync in this video. I've tried my best to fix some of it, but some of it just is not going away. I think there's just a weird frame rate issue going on, more than anything. But here we have a silver dragonfly. Now, we've seen a couple of images of dragonflies thus far in the game, but only one type of thing was really related to a picture of an ant. The keyhole is in the mouth part, and if you try to put the silver dragonfly in, it won't fit. But, like the real-life dragonfly, its wings are detachable. Morbid. But it at least allows us to use it as the key it needs to be. And that rotates the carousel around, not only allowing us to go back down to the other bedroom, but it connects to the main ladder here, which is the main thing you want to do. This allows us to access what I think is meant to be the personal study of the Ashfords. Newspaper clip. A 10-year-old girl genius graduated at the top of her class from a prestigious university. The International Corporation Umbrella Corporators Incorporated offered her the position of head researcher. There we go. There's also, I think, some ink ribbons over there. But what we want is what's on top of this shelf over here, so we need to push this box to get to it. Time for one of my least favorite notes in the game because of what you could read into it. Confession letter. Alexia, my sister, is a genius and possesses unmatched beauty. She's everything to me. I would overcome any obstacle and be willing to risk my life for her. For Alexia, I must revive the glorious Ashford family which failed during the era of my father, Alexander. Together we will restore our family name. Once that has been achieved, I'll build a palace where only nobles may gather. I cannot allow the unwashed to see my dear Alexia, to whom my life is devoted to. She reigns the world as queen, with I as her servant. That is my dream, and how sweet it'll be. Those accomplishments will be the proof of my love toward Alexia. It is the purpose of my existence. All other people are meaningless, and they shall soon prostrate themselves before Alexia and I. Devoted to my beloved Alexia, Alfred Ashford. I'm not going to talk about what you could read that as, but you know what you could read that as, and it's nasty. But beneath that note is the Air Force proof. We now have all three of those, so we can now access that plane over in the underwater lab area that's connected to the military training facility. So I guess let's start heading that direction then.
Claire Redfield. Hold it right there.
We meet each other at last. A pity I must say goodbye so soon.
I am Alexia Ashford. For the pride of the Ashford family, I will kill you.
Wait!
What's going on?
Steve! A secret door!
After her!
Are you okay?
I'm fine. It's just a scratch.
Well, I see being a shit shot's genetic, and you okay, Steve? Uneasy is one way to put it. Better check this room. Gee, I wonder what the blood leads to, and that's clearly in the corner of the frame.
This must be...
What? No!
Wait a second. What just happened?
So there never was an Alexia after all.
You mean he thinks he's two people? Okay, that's it. Let's get out of here.
The self-destruct system has been
That freak! He's trying to blow us up along with the entire facility. Come on, we gotta get to that airport.
Right.
And thus we approach the end of the first half of the game. And apparently Alfred has some general Hollywood version of dissociative identity disorder. I've always felt a bit uneasy with that particular plot point and how they handle it. If only just because of how that can be very easily misconstrued in modern day. But with that, I'm going to need to end this off here. Thank you guys for watching, and in part 8, we are going to get the hell off this island. See you guys then.